So growing up, Cinderella was by far my favorite fairy tale. I was obsessed with everything about her. Um, Her blue dress, her blue eyes, her blonde hair, her skinny figure. Um, I just thought that I wanted to be her. I wanted to look like her when I was younger. And I think that's how blue became my favorite color, was because I thought she looked amazing in that dress. Um, and I sort of began to think, oh my gosh, like her love story is amazing. When will that happen to me? Um, and as a 10-year old, it's sort of hard to start to think that, because then you begin to become focused on maybe not things that I need to be thinking about as a 10-year old, like finding true love. I sort of thought it would be an easy um, sort of process. I thought my Prince Charming would come sweep me off my feet, look for me like crazy. Like he lost her, looked for her like crazy. Then they found each other. They lived happily ever after. And I was always envious of their happy ever after, because I thought it was perfect. Um, and at a young age, I understand why I felt how I did, because it's like, of course I'm gonna think that's gonna happen to me, right? Um, but I think Cinderella sort of romanticized love, and it made her look powerless, because all of a sudden her life became dependent on Prince Charming, um, and sort of a kind of love that was unrealistic, kind of like love at first sight. I don't know if that exists today, but I think that reflecting on fairy tales now that I'm older, I don't know if I would want girls or any children for that matter to watch them, um, because I think it's teaching the wrong type of values. In a health guidance article, a psychology major, Elizabeth Danish, noted that the girl is often waiting for her savior. And I think that in life, life is what we make it. We are in control, so we can't wait for someone um, to come save us. It's sort of it's a waste of time. I think it's up to us to be happy. We need to make ourselves happy before we, get in a relationship with someone else. Um, and I just think that it's not a priority to always think, okay, hopefully I'll meet someone. It's education's important. Finding a job that you love is important. Spending time with your family is important. Um, so I think fairy tales are bad for children, even though people argue that they do encourage imagination or creativity. Um, because it sort of forces children to think beyond their normal capacity, because there's fairy dust, there's the woman who changes Cinderella like in the blink of an eye, and it it sort of makes children think more creatively, and then we begin to develop these sort of ideas that maybe are not really realistic, but someone from the University of Natural Sciences and Humanities in Poland believes that imagination allows people to cross the sort of the realm of the real world, and then to find oneself in a fantastic imaginary time, just like the character. So it allows children to relate to the characters more. Um, and I think that at times it's amazing, because I think the real world can be extremely overwhelming. I know I'm only 19, and I feel like there's already a lot of stress on us as being college students, but we're sort of dipping our toes into the real world. So I understand that people need distractions, but I don't know if this distraction is the right one, um, because it just it's not good to focus on stuff that maybe isn't real. I think we need to begin to start getting people ready for the real world as early as you can, because it's a hard thing finding yourself once you're an adult. It's a hard thing finding your place in the world. And we need to continue to focus on ourselves before we think about anything else. So I think at some point, having a creative side, although that lends toward individuality, I don't think it should be prioritized over an understanding of reality, and that the real world is hard. It's not going to be butterflies, magic, pixie dust. It's not like that. And it's hard because I looked forward to living through Cinderella every time I watched the movie. I can't even, think about how many times I watched it. But I would talk about it for so long. And I just don't think fairy tales are good for children because it sort of distracts them from what they need to be focused on.